Hi, I'm Elizabeth Perez with Elizabeth Photography, and I wanted to do a little video about wedding photography. I started weddings about a year ago, and when I did, I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, which really helped me out. I'm really thankful. But a lot of the photographers seemed like they'd been doing photography, wedding photography for so long that it was really hard to relate to them and the types of weddings that they shoot. They normally, when you've been around for a while, you do higher end photography, wedding photography. But when you're first starting out, you're doing not so higher end. My first wedding, the girl wouldn't even have had a photographer. I just advertised for free, and first I tried to be a second. That didn't work for me. Unfortunately, I would have done anything to be a second, but I just couldn't find anybody in my area. I think I was just not looking in the right places. So I wound up doing my first wedding, and well, my very first one was actually for my aunt, but that was very low key. I don't really consider that my first wedding, but for argument's sake, we'll say that's my first one. My second one I did, of course, for free, and it was very low budget. And I let them know, hey, I haven't done a wedding before. I'm still going through school. I'm still a student, and this is what my work looks like. This is most likely how it's going to happen. And I was very upfront and honest, and I'm glad that I did. I'm very glad that I didn't charge, because when I saw the photos, I was very glad. They were still happy with them, thank goodness. It was for free. I was, like I keep on saying, very open, very honest about the whole thing. So if you're doing that, first and foremost, I would just be really super honest and let them know what to expect, what not to expect. If you're doing it by yourself, most likely you are, there are going to be shots missed. You might not get, somebody might jump in front of you for the first kiss, somebody might jump in front of you, or you may just somehow miss the rings getting put on, that sort of thing. And then there's little things that people just don't know about weddings, like how the father, you usually get the first look of the father when he takes and escorts his daughter to the groom. Now, another thing that I'd like to point out is that I wish I had looked at the wedding in a different way, in a different format altogether. Like, instead of looking at it as a wedding, I wish I had looked at it as going to 5 different shoots. And one where I'm just doing details, one where I'm just doing the bride photographing the bride and the groomsmen getting ready. The next one being the ceremony. The third one being the formal shots. All the family shots, a family session, a large family session, and the 5th one just being candid shots. So if I had looked at that, I think I would have been less stressed, and the less stressed you are, the better the photos come out, especially for me. I would suggest that if you're just starting out doing photography, I would try very hard to be a second, but I know that's not always possible. Somebody may not hire you, or there's just not a lot going on in your area. I live in the middle of nowhere, basically. There's not a lot of photographers, not a lot of weddings, a lot of destinations, so that's probably my biggest problem. So if you can't be a second, I would put out for free, because there's a lot of people that get married, even courthouse weddings. I did a few of those, and they couldn't afford a photographer, and they weren't all in white dresses and everything. It didn't really help my portfolio, but it did help me interact with the bride and groom on their day, which is still special, and it's still important to learn. So those are some of my tips for first-time photography. I will hopefully be doing a few more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe.